Welcome to Breaking Servers, a podcast where we talk about Rust. Today's topics are going to be what are some of the best updates that they've ever had in Rust and worst updates, because Lord knows we've had some pretty gnarly updates, and then also what is some things that they should add or remove. We discussed a little bit last week. I think we can probably rehash that a little bit and maybe add some new stuff, some new flavor to the mix. And then also, what are some of our fondest memories of Rust, right? So we're going to go ahead and kickstart it off with introducing yourselves. Now, Purple, you are the returning guest, so I'd like for you to go ahead and, because you were here last week, and I thank you so much for coming back on, go ahead and give us kind of a quick thing of what you do and what people can expect from watching you on Twitch.
Hello, boys. I am Purple Crown. I am a streamer on Twitch. I basically play Rust, as all of us hopefully do. What can you expect from watching me? I don't know, some good solo gameplay. Basically, I usually play solo, not really with many other people. Sometimes just with people though. We usually just do things for like the troll and for the meme, but recently we've been getting a lot of PvP and a lot of fights. So yeah, you can see that as well. Um, at the moment, I'm trying to get like my YouTube going, so I'm trying to put some videos out, and yeah, that's about it.
Should only be one more. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right on, right on.
That's
Yeah,
5.
you can get some epic content if you want to watch his stuff. Blazed, how about you, man?
Oh my God.
What can people expect from watching you?
I'm Blazed, and I PvP, and I like play solo and duo.
Right on, right on. Those are some of my favorite things. When I first joined, I joined a giant clan when I joined Rust. I like the solo duo and trio. I already have my favorites, favorite people to play with. Slethion, dude, you just hit 2,700 followers, right?
Yeah, on Twitch. Yeah, I'm incredibly excited. I can't believe that I just started, I think, like 5 months ago, streaming a bit, like going for real. I think I created the account like probably 8 months ago, but 5 months ago I moved on my own and I started doing this full time. Of course, aside from the university, I still go to the university. Not now because I'm on vacation, and I'm probably taking this year off just to fully focus on this. But yeah, I still had a 9 to 5 job and a freaking, nine to then after that university and after that streaming. So I can believe we currently hit not only 2,700 followers but 400 subs on Twitch as well. It's
Dude,
insane.
that's awesome, dude. That is absolutely awesome. Uh, Real quick, Kango, you're asking why weren't you invited to the podcast? Just DM me. I would love to have you on. You got 1K subs, dude. That's awesome. Okay, so that is awesome that you're doing this full time for a year now. That is epic. I think if you've been doing this for 8 months and you're already at 2,700 followers, and that's while working. If you're gonna be taking a year off, that's gonna be epic, man. That is gonna be just absolutely insane. Um, all right, so why don't we go ahead and dive into the topics. Um, the first one is going to be what has been some of the best and the worst updates in the history of Rust. So, Slethian, why don't you go ahead and get started on that? I know that this was definitely something that jumped out to you of all of our list of topics. This was one that jumped out to you. What jumped out?
True. Okay, so if I had to, let's start with the short answer would be the good wipes, right? The good updates. If I had to state one of the good updates, I think it would be the chainsaw update. I remember it was incredibly hilarious. I was fairly new to Rust, and whenever I started hearing those chainsaws in the middle of the night, it was probably one of the scariest things
It's
I
so
could have ever
scary.
heard in my life. It was
Mm-hmm.
literally it turned your blood into freaking ice cubes. It was so scary, and being chased by one, it was even worse. But if we had to talk about the worst updates in this game, I would have to say the current ones. Rust is currently on its worst state. They just keep launching things that we don't need without attacking the issues that we really need, and actually turning the gameplay into something that it should have never been. If you actually look into Rust current gameplay, people grab a minicopter, fly from their compound to probably go step over the dome, train your launch, go to outpost, recycle, go back to the compound, or just launch into Ulrich the first 20 minutes of the wipe. New players don't no longer experience the same thing that I on my end, for example, felt the first time I grabbed an AK. I was shaking. I didn't know what to do. My hand was jumping all over the place. People now are just, go to the Ulrich within the 20 minutes of the wipe and get themselves a full-on AK. The struggle of actually playing the game was so incredibly, fulfilling. Actually, now the game is on easy mode. Many copters should be removed, electricity should be removed, it just fucks with the FPS. Ulrich should be removed. The outposts on my end should be reworked, because what I was talking about before from the chainsaws that were so incredibly exciting about this game were just obliterated, because now you just farm 3 stone nodes, or a Zerg flies to the snow, farms an inventory full of stone with a jackhammer, goes back into the outpost flying, just buys inventories of wood, and flies back into their compound. There's no longer I remember I was so excited about the chainsaw update because the Zergs had to come out of their compounds with their chainsaws to farm an entire forest. And since one would be sometimes on patrol, like, covering the one that was farming, you at least had the chance, because of the high noise of the chainsaw, to caught him off guard. For me, so a solo player who actually plays on maximum group of 3, I despise the Zerg gameplay. It was a retaliation against Zergs, because of the high noise, you had a chance against them. Now their gameplay is literally roof and roof camping. It's literally, I don't know, I feel like it completely messed up the gameplay. And for that way, I made a server removing all of these things, and believe what? You actually get plus 120 FPS. I've been struggling to play with more than ever since the electricity update. I can't get any more than 50 or 60 FPS while streaming. I was just streaming for like about an hour with plus 130 and sometimes 150 FPS. You can see it for yourself when you go close to the bandit camp. You're cool on a sane mind. Even I've seen like Blueprint streaming and other streamers with a 2080 Ti or whatever on outpost, and then they can't get plus 50 FPS. So if you haven't finished reworking, why launch it? First, like, remove those things, rework them on a side. I have a friend who works his way around the game design and all of those things. He reworked in 30 minutes the way sheet metal wall worked for building, right? And he actually used 400 less resources than the one Rust currently uses in only 30 minutes. Imagine how much you could optimize. That's server build. That actually destroys the server performance because it's more and more resources used. So if they actually stepped aside and reworked the main core things of Rust, optimization for buildings, which that would be the first case scenario. There's so much that needs to be currently reworked, and I feel like they're messing with instruments. They added the emote. They worked so much. They hyped the emote so much, and they never added an emote wheel. I'm not gonna type the entire command into the console every time I want to emote.
Yep.
Finish one thing, Christ's sake. Stop adding all cars. We don't want cars. You already have the horses and they don't work. Horses get stuck everywhere. Your cars, there's too many vehicles and you're not allowing players to build on the road anymore. It doesn't make sense. And imagine cars can actually kill people. It's gonna take so much time, and it's so much more server build. Much more server build. And again, less roaming, because Zergs will now use cars from place A to place B. There's now no way to caught them off guard. If they don't find themselves a minicopter, they will just car their way into the outpost. See, so it harms the solo player, it harms the community itself, because the roof camping community, I feel like it just makes everyone saltier and toxic. Actually remove like it's very I don't know short-sighted to see now players that are actually wholesome or nice around the community. You know, it's become a film. And I feel like if changing all those things, bringing people back into the rooms into the roads would actually make them engage in conversations again, literally. So, you know, making shops, the game actually taking place to be able to go to from 0 to full AK metal, and that's what
Yeah.
kills servers as well. If you go to from 0 to full AK metal within the day, the second or third day you're bored. It's like you already did everything.
Oh,
Like what would you
absolutely.
say? But before everyone needed at least I don't know 2 days to be full. 3 days, like it was hard
Yeah.
to get a naked. Yeah.
Whereabouts do you live in the world, if you don't mind me asking?
What about? Sorry.
Whereabouts in the world do you live?
I'm from Argentina.
Okay, 'cause, like,
Very far.
I'm from Australia, right? And there's a
Yeah.
couple of servers that obviously everyone plays on. And exactly what you just said. It's like servers where you can go from nothing to AK kit in one day just get boring. Australian servers die every second day.
Yep.
And there's literally servers that will wipe every second day. So like my content on stream, you watch 2 days worth of it, and then I have to hop server. Otherwise, then there's no one to PvP. I 100% agree with you on that.
I have never played ever since those updates more than 1 or 2 days on a server.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because it makes no sense, because you already did everything. It ruins the entire, you know. Back in the day, I remember I was so hyped to stay on a week on a server, even for the fact that surviving that week was so exciting. And now it's just, you know,
It's like easy mode.
It becomes stale.
And then like you can just get like explosives and raiding supplies literally day one, like a couple hours in, and then you just get raided instantly day one as well.
You can literally just, if you have an 8-man, you go, you all make bows, you go and clear over it, because you can. Like I've done it solo with a combo bow. With 8 guys,
Same.
you can do it easily.
Absolutely.
Go with 8 guys. You don't even make a base. I'm talking about you meet at the beach, make bows, because I feel like they could do it with bows if I solo can do it with a combo bow. So they make bows. They get, like, for example, I don't know, 2 C4 at the rig, because that's totally possible and actually not that hard. Getting C4 or any kind of explosive. They go back into the shore. They raid a base, easy. And why? Because of numbers and because of a broken monument. That 8-man wouldn't have been able to raid you if that wasn't the case. If they actually had to go to the launch site and or fight for an airdrop, which would have been harder, or take the Bradley. Bradley is not a broken monument because it's still, you know, asks
still
for
fine.
PvP across the map. Oh no! People no longer go to airdrops, man. Airdrops were the most fun thing in the world, and
Yeah.
people only fly on a minicopter, yoink from midair, and fly back into their compound.
You
What's
can't do
the
that anymore, though, can you?
Yeah,
You still can?
Un-
Are you sure?
of course, bro.
Oh, wait, are you sure?
I saw it I saw it yesterday. You shoot it with a bow. You couldn't like yeah. The airdrops work this way, right? So when the airdrop touches the ground, it's lootable, which is when it has its parachute on. The parachute won't allow you to access the airdrop, which work the way like that's what they try to do, right? So if it has the parachute, it's unlootable. But they thought that if they made it, you know, they thought that it fixed it just because they added that. But it actually didn't work because you can just go ahead, shoot the airdrop, and the parachute will go away, and you can loot it midair. So you only need a second player to shoot it, and you. Oh, I think if you crash it as well, if the airdrop thinks it landed, if you crash it with the like if you give it a slide notch with the.
It's if it
and-
collides with anything. If you drop like
Yeah.
a rock on the top, it collides with another entity, and the parachute disappears.
Right.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think
I think it's okay. I think it's okay, Kango.
No, I was thinking about the same thing too, though. Like I think
That's fine, we're vibing, we're
about these
chilling.
topics I ramble about too much.
I love rambling. I love rambling.
Hey guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this part of the podcast. We actually talked for a very long time on the podcast, and this is just a small segment of it. We will be breaking up the rest of it in small segments because the whole podcast episode was about 2 hours long in total. So this way we can just kind of get the information out there little bits at a time. But such a great conversation. I want to thank all of the streamers that agreed to be on the show. We got Purple Crown, we got Blazed, and we got Slethion. Thank you guys so much. It was an amazing conversation. We were just talking about the things that we love about Rust, some of the best updates, and also things that we hate about Rust, some of the worst updates. And we'll be having some more conversations in the future. If you want to be a part of this, go ahead and leave a comment below, or you can always direct message me via Discord. I am Invis, so please feel free to do so, and we'll get you on the show. Dependent on what your followers are and what your knowledge base is, we'll have you teamed up with people of like interests and abilities. That way, it's fair for everybody. Anyways, thank you so much. We do these shows once every 2 weeks, so please stay tuned and follow us on Twitch so that you can watch the streams live, and also subscribe to us on YouTube so that you can see every time we upload these clips. You guys are awesome, and as always, stay rusty, my friends. Peace.